Happy Sunday morning, everyone. This is Mo. Welcome to my vlog for the week of April 18, 2022. So, as I mentioned last week, I was having some issues with getting a shipment of canvas from Michaels. They sorted it. I got the remaining canvas and I have started working on them, and I'm very grateful that it made it in time. So, as you can tell from the state of my fingernails, that this has been a week of a lot of painting, and I finished 3.5 paintings. I say half because one of these is way smaller than the other 16 by 20 pieces, and this one's like 4 by 6, and I'm not sure if it's complete. So that's why this is the half. And where I stand with my 100-day project. Today, I started week 11 with Maya Angelou. And I mean, every single time I read her words, I hear it in a different way. It like another layer of meaning, another layer of experience gets added to it. And I think it is partly growing up on my part, like growing older, having more experiences. And yeah, so looking back at those words, how do I put it? Those words are, oh my God, I can't find a word, are understood differently. Understood is not the word I'm going for, but I think you know what I mean. And this week I started, actually I made this journal out of packaging, as you can see, and put it to prints. But yeah, I didn't really quite work on it much. I just had worked on a few pages, like few random pages, no thoughts and nothing. So this week, I revisited it again. Didn't do anything really, but at some points, wiping off my brushes in a book was somehow made me feel better than washing the paint off. So that's what it's been doing, sitting on my desk, receiving all the paints on my brush at the end of my work day on my palette that I know are going to dry off, and I don't want to just clean them out. And so I just put, and you can see these kind of journals are always catch-all journals. And I had food, so those stickers are here. I ordered something, it had a sticker, so that went here. And these are stickers. My youngest daughter, she loves the fact that I just add stickers, and I think I'm probably one of the very, very few adults she knows. I think I'm the only adult she knows who keeps stickers. So yeah, she's very enthusiastic. They get these stickers for good job and all that. They're like in elementary school. So she brings me those, and I feel that somehow she feels very excited when I give those stickers the amount of importance, and because she thinks my journals are very important, which they are, but like I just love that she just lights up when I add a sticker she brings me and put on my journal. So yeah, it's a bonding experience. Did you ever think that art journaling would be a bonding experience with your kid? Like, I mean, I understand that fellow art journalists get it, right? But to have that with your kid is so, it's really nothing, and it's a lot of things. So that, and I got this book from the library. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I do intend to. I intend to read it all. And I was just very moved by some of the things people, like famous people, have said about the book. Or, you know, it just resonated. I don't know, obviously, what the book really says, but I do want to find out. So hopefully next week, maybe not next week because I'm still in the mad rush of finishing paintings, but at some point I would love to share with you what I read, what stood out and all that. And apart from that, what else did we do? Oh, I was so exhausted yesterday. I took a nap for 45 minutes in the afternoon, and then when I woke up, I then wasted about 2 hours watching Netflix on my phone. And so that was Saturday. On Friday was Earth Day. Actually, we started doing this on Thursday. We painted rocks for Earth Day, and I made one for myself. And while my kids' rocks are far prettier, with all kinds of colors and, how they see the world so colorful and beautiful. I love the color of the rock as it is. It's such a rich color, I felt. And I just took some acrylic paint and my paintbrush and wrote a word because I need reminders. I think we all do. And most of the time, if we don't remind ourselves, most likely other people would not remember to remind us. Unless, they are your friends and everything. But yeah, make it a part of your routine to remind yourself what you need to remember. So this now sits on my desk. I love it. There's nothing special writing or anything. It's just plain simple, a reminder. I think I have a couple more rocks in which I have written down messages like this. I think the first one I did was now, because this was COVID pandemic had started and I was homeschooling and I was overwhelmed, and I had to just at times it was debilitating overwhelm, and I felt like I need to drop everything mentally and then just focus on this moment. So I made a rock at that moment. I didn't make the rock. I wrote on the rock. I found a rock on my walk and I wrote on it now. That was my word, and I would keep that on my desk and refer back to it now. And then I have another one where it says truth, because I find a lot of the times much of our suffering come from some of our memories, and those memories are often, some amount of it is grounded in fact, of course, but then it is also, the memory also involves not only the fact but our interpretation at that moment. And I think the interpretations is what causes more pain than the fact itself. Not condoning the fact, but I think, a bit of the experience, much of the experience is also the interpretation of the so-called fact, the story. So truth. So returning to the truth of the matter and letting go of the accumulated suffering. So that's so serious topic, man. And what else did I do? Flowers are coming in bloom, and the main background score in my house right now is a series of sneezes. Like everybody's sneezing their heads off. I went on a walk on Friday. It was quite chilly. I came home sniffling. The ground is covered with these petals, like so many flowers. It's like there are 6 petals to each flower, and you do the math. The weather today. Yeah, you're seeing right. It's snow. But it's so beautiful. And on my walk, I found this little guy. I don't know, it was like in somebody's yard. I totally trespassed into the yard and picked this up. Nobody minds. Everybody knows everybody around here. But I mean, I couldn't resist, and I don't know how I even saw it. It's like a little, like the grass was pretty high, and I still spotted it, and I don't know, I had to bring it home. This is an issue with me. When I find something like this and they speak to me, I bring them home. And sometimes I really don't know what I'm going to do with them, but they sit in like little bins and baskets. I have a lot of those, and sometimes they just sit there for years before I find a use for them, or I reach back out to them, and sometimes it's impossible to keep everything I collect, and I have to let them go. And decluttering is a continuous process for me, and whenever I sit down to declutter, I used to be very upset because it felt like I'm wasting time, Had I not collected that, I wouldn't have to clean it. And all that record would play in my head. And now I'm deliberately trying to make peace with the fact that in that moment, I honored the feeling I had. I collected something that felt important. And while that moment passed, and sometimes the feeling passes, I honored the moment. In some way, I honored the now. And yes, of course, I'm not going to hold on to everything, but when I'm letting go, that is also, it's a surrender. It's an allowing to that. I collected it and I'm letting it go now. Nothing life-altering happens when I bring something in and let it go. But just that acceptance, this is a process. This is not a waste of time. A lot of the time, growing up, the biggest thing in our household was productivity, efficiency, how to streamline any process, every process. My mom made things happen like clockwork, mundane things, important things, everything in its place, everything done on time. But what happened was, in trying to maintain that clockwork, she rarely took care of herself. And she fell sick quite often. And I'm kind of trying to break away from that pattern, that not everything that produces a huge result that can be seen and admired by others is still a part of my process. And the older I grow, the more the importance of silence and having a blank is becoming important. I mean, I cannot say I don't, but I think my dread of the blankness, the emptiness, the quiet is reducing. I'm starting to see that blank as very potent. And while I don't know how that blank is going to be filled up, I would still say that allowing myself to experience that, I have a hard time sitting very still. When I'm cleaning, instead of having that self-blame playing through my mind, like, oh, you're wasting time, you shouldn't have collected these, and all the shoulds and should nots, letting that go and simply oh, see, I collected this. Oh, I remember that day. That enjoying, reliving that moment if the memory is still intact. And if I still want to hold on to it, when I clean up, it is never like there were 100 things and now there are 0 things. It's never like that. Yes, I let go. Maybe I kept 20 of those, and maybe 18 of those 20 are going to go in the next round of cleaning. Still, allowing myself where letting go doesn't feel like a traumatic experience. And it sounds like a trauma is such a big word, but when their trauma happens, nobody is causing it. Trauma happens from living, and it's just little calm self-healing steps that I find to be quite effective. And I respect them, honor them that way, instead of thinking of it as a clutter or a waste of time. Nothing is a waste of time. What else? So I used to be very, um, I used to make very interesting sketches with charcoals and stuff. That was back when I was in middle school. And then somehow that process was let go. I don't know why. After that, I got very involved in acrylic painting. Like acrylic painting um, became more important to me than all other craft forms. I think the oldest thing I have held on to from my childhood is collaging. And of course, it has evolved over the years what I collage, why I collage, how I collage. But still, it is a very, it's like, feels like coming home. And especially when I'm not trying to make something impressive. It's a very fun, childlike process for me. And so I bought these, I think they are called willow charcoal, and this is from Faber-Castell. Um, I don't have the exact name, so I'm not gonna say it the wrong way. But this one is from Faber, both are from Faber-Castell actually. But yeah, I know, remember the name of this, it's a willow charcoal, and this thing, it's an egg, wooden egg cup that has a wooden egg on top of it, which I took off and put in a bowl last week. Um, yeah, my painted eggs, my daughter's painted eggs are all in that bowl. And I just had this, so I put the charcoals in there. If I have it out in the open and handy, maybe I'll make some scribbles, and maybe it will get me get a momentum going where I would do more than scribbles. Who knows? And this one, I got this one. This was so inexpensive and I love it. It's just so, it's cast iron, so it's quite heavy. And I bought it in the name of Incense Burner because somehow or another, all of the incense burners I buy, my incense still makes a mess. I don't know why, what I do wrong. I don't know if it's me or if it's the product. Anyway, so I got this because a few years ago, I went somewhere and they had this. When I walked in, it felt, the smell in that space felt so good, but it was not that of a sweet smell of an incense or a candle. It had a natural rawness to it. And I asked this person, like, are you like burning something? And she was like, oh, is it bothering you? Because a lot of people can't stand various kinds of smoke and all that, right? And so I asked her, what is that smell? She said, well, this is called white sage. And she showed me, they come like bundled. And you guys, many of you probably already know these things. And she was explaining to me the properties of sage and all that. I don't remember all of it, so I'm not going to give you wrong information because I forgot. But look it up, white sage. And I never took any action on it, but I do intend to get myself some sage bundles, and this seemed like a perfect thing because I can remove this and I can burn incense in them, and this seems to be the exact length that most sage sticks, and I think you can buy sage bundles in various lengths. So this one's 4 inches, and I do intend to buy one. And she also mentioned that, if you she has lots of, I mean, she practices Reiki as well, so her knowledge base is very vast. And she said, well, whenever you burn something, make sure that you do not leave it unattended, which is like also common sense. But like, even when, if you feel that the cast iron needs to have something that is not going to burn down, I don't know if a wood thing is a good idea for that, but for the time being, I do not intend to leave anything unattended. So once I get my sage bundle, I would probably burn it here. So it's going to be kind of like a ritual, like a morning ritual, maybe. Who knows? I don't know how that's all going to end up, but this week this thing made me happy. And these were all purchased at different times. This is from my kitchen actually. But yeah, we don't use it every day, so I'm thinking of reducing the compartmentalization, like, oh, that's for my kitchen. Obviously, if I'm going to eat from a plate, I'm not going to mix my paints on it. But, there are some things that are more decorative that are not pulled out on every occasion. Even if I'm having guests over, even if it's like having a formal dinner, not every accessory comes out at every dinner. So something like this sits in and waits for rotation from 2 years to 3 years, or maybe more. Sometimes they are just forgotten because they take up space, and what's not in use every day gets shoved in the back of a drawer maybe. But I'm glad I found it and I got it out. Yeah, but that would be something I would like to try. And what else? I think that's all I have got for you this week. I am hoping to see you next Sunday with my vlog from the coming week, as well as hopefully be able to film a sketchbook flip through for April. I haven't touched my sketchbook for April since the last time I shared it with you. I believe it was last week, where I was doing some lessons on Sketchbook Revival. And Sketchbook Revival is still on. I mean, if you have time to make a marathon with it, do it. You are going to learn, I can promise you're going to learn something new from it, because there are so many artists, teachers with so many different points of views. It's a very enriching experience, and I do wish that I can finish, watch, if not make my own projects with it, at least to watch it. But we will see. I do have to finish the paintings. That is my priority this week. And yes, time to stop. Bye.